Hey guys, it's the last day of the year, which means it is day 365 of my year of committing 100% to veganism. So I just wanted to make a quick video to kind of sum up how I found living vegan for the year, and any sort of problems I had or challenges that I had, and then moving forward what I plan to do. So I guess, I've kind of been almost vegan for a couple of years. I would sort of be like an at-home vegan, which means that I wouldn't buy or eat any animal products at home, but I'd kind of relax on that a bit when I'd go out. So, if I went somewhere for dinner with friends, I'd kind of just eat whatever they'd serve and just leave it at that. But this year, I guess, I've researched health and nutrition extensively for almost 6 years now, and the longer I've spent researching it and the more that I've sort of applied what I've learnt into my diet and into my life, I guess the more I've kind of just naturally gravitated towards wanting to live vegan. So this year I thought, yep, I'm going to commit 100% and just see how I feel. And so I guess, people would say, what the hell, what do you eat? Like the concept of not eating any dairy, meat or eggs, fish, things like that is really, really foreign to a lot of people. But you learn pretty quickly that there are so many plant-based alternatives to what you might have previously eaten. So meat, I just don't miss at all. I guess, when I look at meat now, when I think of meat, in my head, I've just got, that's a dead carcass, it's a dead body, and I don't want to be putting that food into my body. There were 2 times this year that I distinctly remember wanting to eat it, and they were both very, very recent. So the first was when I broke my arm about a month ago. I got home from hospital after 4 days of being in there and 4 days of fasting, because I had to fast before surgery, and then the surgery kept getting put off. So I was starving, and I came home and my sister had made a spaghetti bolognese for my children for dinner, and I was heating it up, and the smell of it normally would turn my tummy. I don't like the smell of meat. It really makes me feel quite sick. But I don't know if it's just because I was so hungry or whatever, but I really wanted to eat that meat and I didn't. But so that was the first time. And the second was just a few days ago on Christmas Day. Our best friends came over and cooked up a nice Christmas feed. And Chris had spent 4 hours at least baking this turkey from scratch in my kitchen. So I had this smell of baking turkey wafting through the house for hours, and I don't even know if it was necessarily the smell or the fact that it was Christmas and that's such a traditional part of Christmas dinner, or the fact that I just saw how much effort he went into making it. But I really, really wanted to eat it, and I didn't. But yeah, they're basically the only 2 times that I've been tempted with meat this year. As for dairy products, things like milk, I haven't drunk milk for years, so that's been really easy. But replacing it with things like nut milk, I make a lot of cashew milk or almond milk or hemp milk, anything like that I'll make for the kids and have it in the fridge. And it's really simple to make. I'll share some of those recipes with you guys soon. So milk's easy. Even things like chocolate and ice cream, there's so many vegan versions of these. You can make ice cream out of frozen banana, or out of, if you've got a really good blender, like in the Thermomix, I'll just whiz up ice and I might chuck a few chunks of frozen banana with it to make it a bit more creamy, and then add some cacao or vanilla or whatever flavorings I want. And it's super yum. I just love it. I haven't missed ice cream really at all. And same with chocolate. You can make chocolate out of raw cacao, coconut oil and cacao butter. Then you add in a bit of sweetener and freeze it, and you've got chocolate. So they're easy. Cheese though, I guess by now I've met a lot of vegans. I've got quite a few vegan friends now, which is cool. But, I hear them say, there's so many vegan options for cheese. Yeah, there are vegan options, but none of them taste like cheese. So, I would make cheese now out of sort of cashews and nutritional yeast and maybe coconut flour and lemon juice, things like that. And I think it tastes delicious, but it doesn't taste like cheese. So, just getting used to kind of the alternatives for some people might be a little challenging. I actually find now I prefer the taste of food without cheese, because in the past I would lather everything with cheese, and that would basically be what I would taste is the cheese, rather than the subtle taste of the veggies and the herbs and the spices and things that I might have actually put into the food. So yeah, it's quite simple. Once you start getting your head around plant-based eating, and you can kind of make what you made before plant-based. So anything with meat in, I would follow heaps of recipes. I might often look at paleo recipes, but instead of putting meat in, I would just use a heap of veg, but you still got all the flavors and the herbs and the spices, and it tastes amazing. So, we eat a lot of that sort of food and a lot of quinoa, heaps and heaps of veg. Probably the majority of my diet would be green vegetables, and I've just grown to love them. I crave celery over anything else. But it's taken a long time to get to that point. So in the past, I'd eat a lot of raw treats to help me get off the refined sugars, and things like my Snickers Slice or Ferrero Rocher balls, things like that. And now, I might eat them occasionally, but it only takes sort of about 2 weeks for your taste buds to adjust and to adapt. So any kind of eating plan that you're, thinking of doing, the first 2 weeks might be tough while your body sort of starts detoxing and that your taste buds just sort of get used to the new food. But after the 2 weeks, you should find it a lot easier. So really, yeah, they're kind of the main challenges, I suppose, with plant-based eating. Eating out, I definitely got used to, eating things like side salads with no dressing and side veggies with no dressing, and maybe even some hot chips if I really wanted, a bit of a treat. But yeah, a lot of restaurants now are getting on board with a few more plant-based options, which is really exciting. So moving forward, I guess this year I've loved, like my health has improved with things like allergies. I used to be very congested, around hay fever season. I'd get really snotty, and yeah, it wouldn't be nice at all. I'd have to have the antihistamines to kind of go out sometimes during that season. So this year though, being 100% off dairy, no allergies. I haven't had any antihistamines. I barely need to blow my nose or sneeze. And before that would just be, it would go on for 2 or 3 months. So that's been amazing. My energy has been really solid this year. I've been busier than I've ever been before. I've got 4 kids, and I've taught a lot more raw food classes this year than I have in previous years, but my energy has stayed, really solid. And so my mental health as well. In the past, when I'd get too busy, I'd get really stressed and things like that. And I don't know if it's necessarily anything to do with being vegan, but I felt just really good this year. A lot more chilled out, a lot happier. And I just love it. I guess being vegan has really become a big part of who I am. And so moving forward, I know a lot of you have said, oh, what are you going to do next year? Would I stay vegan? Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love what being vegan stands for, with eating a lot more plant-based foods. With, I guess if you start researching about where meat comes from and how, that piece of chicken actually gets to your plate and what needs to happen with those chickens and the factoring, farming, all this sort of thing. I guess at a certain point for me, I just didn't want to contribute to that, and I didn't want to eat it anymore. So if you're thinking of doing it, I'd say just start easy, do a month of vegan and see how you feel. You don't have to, I guess, necessarily commit 100%. And I guess moving forward, I might at times try something that wasn't vegan. So, if next year Chris made that turkey again, yeah, I would have a bite. I would try it. I probably wouldn't be quite so rigid as I have been this year. But on the whole, I absolutely love, I love the lifestyle of being vegan, and I find it really easy. And my health is just in a much better place. So I guess that's kind of, my experience with being vegan this year. If you have any questions, just post them below. Or likewise, if you've been on a bit of a health journey, share it with us. I'd love to hear, even if it's not with veganism. I guess each of us have our own little journey of what's going to work best for you and your health, and just share it with us so that we can all learn from each other. So happy New Year's, everyone. I'll see you in 2018, and I'll have a few more videos for you coming soon. But thanks guys, happy New Year, and I'll see you later.